Welcome to another episode of the Independent Trainer Podcast. Your host, Garnett, Strother. Today, we have yet another esteemed colleague, Nancy Muscles Brown, and she's going to talk about many different things that are on our minds as gym goers. Mostly the patriarchy, how it affects the mindsets of women that go into a gym structure, and cats. So, Nancy, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Garnett, for having me.
Nancy, why don't we get started with talking about how you got started in the fitness industry?
How I got started in the fitness industry? So I was in graduate school.
Okay.
And I was for writing, and I was working out a lot, and I was actually competing in bikini in bodybuilding shows.
That's right.
And people kept asking me to train them, and I was like, I'm not a trainer. That's beneath me.
Wow.
I'm an intellectual. I wouldn't say that, right?
Damn,
but that was what was in my head. Is like, no, I'm too smart for that shit. And so, and I was getting a degree at Columbia. I was getting a master's degree at Columbia. So I was like, no, I'm not going to be a trainer.
Right.
And then I applied for a job at Baruch College in the Writing Center.
Wow.
And I applied for a job at Equinox.
Okay.
So I was sort of like, well, maybe it's not so bad,
But what made you...
And the Baruch, I didn't get the job at Baruch.
Okay, well, that'll do it.
It was 400 applicants or something or 200 applicants for 4 positions. I made it through one round. And then was cut.
Okay.
And then, and I got hired at Equinox, and I cried.
I think we all do inside when we get hired by Equinox.
I literally cried because I didn't see myself as a trainer.
Wow, that's so interesting because I feel like you're such a natural instructor of things.
I always saw myself as a teacher, right? But I saw myself as a professor, which is what my dad does.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so I always believed I was going to be a professor. My family believed that also.
Wow.
So, and I may eventually, but that's not the phase of life I'm in, right?
Right.
So
how was your experience at Equinox?
Equinox probably isn't the worst place to work because they do offer some continuing education.
They do. They're really good at that.
And so I got turned on to some stuff, and I started digging on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I got turned on to the value of continuing education. I won't say that the stuff that they offer is top tier, but I got turned on to the value of continuing education in fitness. And, I got some exposure through this trainer, Maurice Summers, to the idea that not everybody's working out for looks.
That is true.
Not everybody's working out to fit into a certain mainstream paradigm,
right?
Fitness model look.
Which is interesting because you started. How did you get started in doing bikini?
Oh, the patriarchy.
The patriarchy? And let's get started. That's why we're tuning in today. So the patriarchy. So okay.
So I guess I started working out.
Okay.
And I responded well.
Okay.
Right? I could see changes pretty quickly.
Okay.
And there were, I think I just touched my mic. There were guys at the gym who competed at in physique or whatever.
Right.
Men's physique.
If you guys aren't familiar with physique, it's basically bodybuilding with just your upper body.
Yeah, you're wearing board shorts.
Yeah. It's hot.
So anyway, I learned about that, and I saw some, pictures, I guess, of bikini competitors, and I was like, oh, I could do that. And I think I wanted the validation. I'm totally a drone of the patriarchy. I grew up looking at Jessica Rabbit and the mom from the Jetsons. She has a really tiny waist.
Oh, right.
And so I remember when I was probably about 5 or 6, I took a pin. My mom was teaching me how to sew, and I took a pin and I tried to pop my stomach.
Really?
So that it would become like the Jetsons' mom. She had this really tiny waist. So it's I knew from very, very early age that that hourglass figure was powerful, and that got you places in the world, right? And so I've always had a kind of fascination with glamorous women, but I've also always been very conflicted about it, right? Because it seems like if you become that kind of woman, that's all you can be,
Right.
right? And so,
At least
and, like,
perceptually, right?
right. And so, and we just talked about before this interview about how I also idolize, like, you know, these icons of intelligence, right? Like scientists and, you know, Jacques Cousteau and different writers and things. So I always felt very conflicted. And when I saw bikini, I was like, oh, that's all that showgirl bullshit, but they have muscles too. So it's like with a twist. And that just, it struck a chord in me. I was like, okay, I think I could do that. And I thought it was going to validate me in some way, you know? And I think I also had this idea that my body was going to save me, right? So, like, I was going to get saved by, like, some dude.
What? This is not the Nancy Muscles we know and love at all.
But this is the thing is, like,
Wow.
everybody thinks this shit, but a lot of people don't realize it. They don't address it. They don't dig deep enough, right? Some people, maybe some people don't have these thoughts, but I think a lot of women have these ideas buried deep inside, and they're not willing to look at them, right?
Wow.
Whereas I'm just like, all right, I'm going to be really honest about it, but it's like because it's all in the kind of brought it to the fore. I have these other values that are conflicting with that stuff, right? But yeah, I kind of always thought that, like, okay, I'm gonna get myself like looking right, and then I'm gonna get some high status guy, and blah blah blah.
So when did that start to change? That's crazy. I mean, that's the polar opposite of what I've known you as and how I met you. But that's what swung the needle in the other direction?
Here's the thing: is like, so I was brought up to value intelligence, to value talent, right? Like artistic talent. And so those are my really, really core values. But then you put this like kind of patriarchal ideal on top of that, right? And you get a lot of conflict, a lot of internal turmoil. And so it's like I always thought that like part of me really wanted to just be a genius, right?
Yeah.
To write my books or whatever and be a genius and not need validation from men.
Right.
But I felt like I couldn't live without validation from men. So, and I felt like my intelligence was actually in direct conflict with the goal of wanting validation from men. So it's like I felt like I had two goals that were like in conflict with each other.
Wow. That's some heavy shit. Wow. I think, man, so how did you, if you have at all, how did you reconcile these two parts of your life where they're opposing forces, but going towards one means that you're definitely going to leave the other?
So I worked with a life coach. Her name's Carl Lowenthal. She has a podcast called Unfuck Your Brain. And I actually worked with her. Now she's like, you can't even work with her one-on-one.
Oh, wow.
But I somehow started working with her before she got famous.
Oh, sick.
And she was asking me stuff like, okay, well, if a guy had a problem with you being like anti-racist,
okay,
would you think that was something wrong with you? Like, would you change that? And I would be like, no, fuck that, right? Like,
right.
That's so stupid. And so she's like, so why should your intelligence be any different? Like, why are you trying to suppress that? Like, what if a guy has a problem with you being I'm basically a know-it-all, but like, whatever. If he has a problem with that aspect of you, like, so what? Like, why do you have to make it something wrong with you instead of something wrong with him?
Right.
And so we worked a lot on that.
What was the
stuff.
answer to that question?
Well, yeah. Eventually I was like, yeah, fuck you, whatever. It's fine. I'm going to just be me, you know? And then I like shortly after I started working with Cara, I met Taylor, who's now my husband. So
shout out Taylor. It's a good man.
Shout out to Taylor.
He's a good man. Love that dude.
Yeah. So, and Taylor is not threatened by me at all.
Most strong men are not threatened by strong women.
This is actually something I found is that a lot of guys who are physically strong
yes,
are not threatened by smart women.
Why
I
would
think
they be?
they already have their thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, Taylor is like secure in himself. Like most men that I fuck with, all the men that I know, it's from the Fight Club or like on the gym that I really know intimately. Those men are really secure with themselves, with their masculine, not even masculinity, I would even say, just like their themselves, and they would like to have that energy at least matched. I guess I can speak for myself. Like I would like that. I like that energy. That's why I like surrounding myself with strong women. That's why I like surrounding myself with men that are in touch with a more compassionate side for balance.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you think that among men there are differences along race and class lines in like what they're drawn to?
I don't know if the race and class lines supersede the conditioning of that individual, right? I think that it's about, like, I grew up in a traditional black household, went to church twice a week, like, but I'm not religious at all. In fact, I went so the other direction that my family doesn't even understand me. Now they respect me now that I'm like, successful, but there was a time where they just didn't get it, and I think it has to do with the choices we make. And I think that what you're exposed to, I was exposed to strong women.
That's what I'm saying.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, regardless of like my race, I guess, or like class, the women in my life held me down. My grandmother and my mom are the smartest people I ever met in my life. She's spectacularly well read. My mom raised 3 boys on her own. You know what I'm saying? With no help. My grandmother raised everybody else's kid in the neighborhood. Plus, she had 50 grandkids, 50, and she raised all them. It was it was that. Those are the people that I looked up to. But the downside of that was they hated men. They hated men. They just like would say fucked up things to me all the time. And I had a daughter, right, at a very young age. So they were like, oh, you're just going to be just like every other man. Oh, we've seen this story before. You're going to be just like your father. You're going to be just like his father. You're going to be like, so.
Yeah, it's hurtful.
Yeah, so it was just like, fuck that. I'm going to do me. You know what I'm saying? Like, thank you for setting an example. But I knew I had to build myself up. Like, you're not special. What, because you're a father? You're not special. Like, women been doing that forever. But it's not the same context at all, So I think that to answer your question, I think that it depends on the conditioning of that individual.
So I have a friend who's also a client, I guess. She is a chef, and she is a very strong woman. I love this woman. And she said that she noticed that the cooks who had been raised by single moms never had a problem with her.
They get it.
Yeah.
They get it. Like, these are the rules.
Yeah.
A woman is telling you the rules, and that's just what it is, dog. Like, all right, those are the rules. That's how we're gonna stay alive.
Right.
Whatever. But like my mom and my mom is ferocious, man. Like, that's why I don't coffee break. That's why I don't have a problem with like strong women either, because my mom was like unmatched, like power and like authority. If you talk to her now, she commands a room like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my mannerisms come from her. Like, I don't, like rap videos. You know what I mean? Like, she's such a big influence on me. I didn't grow up with my dad at all. You know what I'm saying? And he is like the masculine version of her. So I don't know why they made this like testosterone fueled just person. Like, they really should never have done this. This is a bad idea, I think. It took a lot of martial arts to curve all this energy into a positive direction. So I think that, like, of course they didn't have a problem with her, because they used to, like, I don't even understand how men can have a problem with a woman telling them what time it is. I just feel like women, especially women of color, are closer to the truth. They're a little closer to what's really happening in society, because they're the ones influencing it. Everything that we're into as a society, musically, culturally, stylistically, they're made by, women of color and gay men. It's like those are the people that are like the closest to the source, I feel like, right? If I'm DJing a place, I'm playing to them because they're going to set the vibe for the entire area geographically, right? So for me, it's like, I got to listen to you guys. I got to listen to women. You got to listen to them. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I only surround myself with real niggas. So I don't even know what it's like to be some fake nigga like, oh, this girl was all bossy and, oh, I don't even know, man. Like, that's not for me. Like, the men, I want to hear your opinion, right? If you're going to be my life partner, if you're going to be my gym partner, I want to understand that you have thoughts and are intelligent. Like, I want to hear what you have to say because you enhance my map of the world. The more I listen to you, the more closer I am to the truth, listening to your experiences. This is why I have you here today, because I want to listen to your experiences. So, next question, actually, perfect segue into, okay, so we go to Equinox. We all have our, like, we make our way through Equinox, and we get taught the fundamentals, and we get a little, like, experimental with, like, training people. What was that like? What made you want to continue training enough to, like, all right, well, this is not what I intended on doing, but I'm here now, and you left us with being at a very, like, a different perspective. It's not all about aesthetics for you. It's more about now it's about performance or, like, other goals that people have. How did you come to that crossroads, and how did it take you to where you are now?
How did I come to the crossroads of letting go of aesthetics as a primary goal? Or
Correct. Yep.
So that's a little tricky. I'm not entirely sure. I think it was gradual process. I stopped bodybuilding. I think probably it was because after I did bikini, bikini. The performance of bikini is really weird.
How so?
You're like winking and shimmying and, like, doing all this stuff
No
on
way.
stage. Oh,
I've
yeah.
never seen a bikini performance.
Oh yeah. It's wild. You have, like, a whole stage persona and stuff.
Could you give us a little, like, it's so not Nancy Muscles, man. Like,
wow.
Wow.
So my posing coach had me. I did, like, a little bit of a bitchy stage persona, so I wasn't just
very
like,
nice.
I wasn't just like,
Hi, boys.
yeah.
You're like,
Anyway, but so I wanted to do figure.
Okay.
Because figure felt more like real bodybuilding to me, and so I was trying to put on muscle, and so I was going through a muscle building phase, and I met a power lifter.
Okay.
And he talked me into doing a meet, and so I had my coach Alberto Nunez program in powerlifting and with my bodybuilding. So I was doing, like, powerlifting as my kind of meat and potatoes, and then having some accessory movements like arms and stuff. And
wow, that's fascinating. You have a very well-versed background in fitness.
I don't know. When I get into something, I think I just throw myself into it. So I started doing, and then I did powerlifting, and I was like, this is more fun than doing little bodybuilding movements, and dieting's fucking hard. And so I got into powerlifting, and in powerlifting you start to see a lot of different bodies moving that weight, and I just became more and more aware of the party line in the fitness industry, where everybody's supposed to be lean, and, like, realizing, for instance, that fitness models have to diet for their shoots.
Oh, right.
But it's being presented as, like, this is health.
Exactly. Right.
And I remember when I was, like, a week out from a show for bikini, I was, like, shredded. And
a week out, you were shredded.
Yeah.
Damn.
I was like, when I worked with Alberto for my second show, I got shredded early, and I actually was able to up my calories going into the show.
Wow. You must have extreme discipline.
Yeah, I'm psycho. I'm, like, really psycho with the food.
What do you mean?
I was weighing. I weighed every gram of food.
Wow.
Every gram of food. But and I didn't break at all. Like, I never had, like, a binge or anything.
Wow.
Until after the show. But anyway, so I was, like, getting waited on by this girl I knew, and she's like, she knew I was doing the show, and she's like, oh, do you just feel, like, amazing? And I was just getting an espresso and a seltzer water.
Right.
And I was like, bitch, I'm starving.
Right.
I'm starving.
Yeah, this is not.
And I was like, how? And I had a woman in one of my classes at graduate school ask me what I was eating, and I was like, what? She's like, what are you eating? And I was like, this is not something you should try to do. And she's like, this was like a week out from a show. I looked crazy, and I knew I looked crazy. Like, I didn't think I looked good. You look good on stage. In real life, you look like a freak.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, you look like, I'll show you some pictures, but you look like a freak. Like, you could see separation of my delts.
Oof.
You know?
Wow, that's super lean.
And, like, you look crazy. And I knew I looked crazy. And I was like, what? Why are you asking me this? And she's like, I don't mean the working out, like, just the diet. And I was like, I weigh all of my food.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about? What do I eat? And it's like, why would you want to look like this? Like, I haven't menstruated in 9 months.
Wow, really?
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Maybe it wasn't, actually, that's a lie. It was probably 6 months at that point. It took me like 6 months to get it back, though. After
Wow.
the shows. Yeah.
Your hormones were completely fucked.
Waxed. Yeah, totally fucked up. I was like losing hair.
What?
Yeah, dude. I got like, I mean, like, a woman is not supposed to be that lean, and it's fine. Like, my body recovered.
Right.
But you're not supposed to be that lean. And so, anyway, but which is exactly my point, right? Because she's looking at me and thinking that I'm something she should live up to, and it's like, how do you tell people? I actually think bodybuilding is really cool, but it's an extreme sport.
It's very
Even
extreme.
Bikini is like the entry level, and
Right.
well, a lot of girls don't really get lean enough for the stage.
Right.
But it's an extreme sport. It shouldn't be looked on as healthy. It's something that you do. It's like being a fucking ultra marathoner or something. Nobody thinks an ultra marathoner is doing it for health.
No.
Right.
They're also insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I think I'm really rambling here. But I think
No, but what you're touching on is so important because people really think that, like, when you see that shredded, photoshopped, airbrushed, face-tuned image on Instagram,
like, oh, shit, that's what I'm supposed
that's
to
what
look
I'm supposed to look like. Wow, oh, I'm a little fat right here. I do it to myself all the time. I think I'm fat right now. Like, it's not, it's not, like, because you compare yourself to that image of when you were, like, competing. You compare yourself to that image when you were like, oh, like fight weight. Like, I'm looking at fighters, and they're 155 pounds, like 5'9", and I'm like, why am I not like completely translucent right now? You should be able to see right through me. Like, why am I not living all that? Because I'm not training like 8 hours a day. I'm also not completely dehydrated.
Right.
You know, the first 4 weeks of fight camp, you're feeling good. You're like smoking people in camp. You think you're nice, and then like the last leg, you start to taper off, and then your immune system is shot. You feel sick.
Sure, yeah.
It's the same process as bodybuilding, except now you got to fight a dude with like half your brain working. It's insane.
Dude, that's so crazy.
It's
like,
crazy.
I try to imagine, because I think about my state of mind.
Yeah.
Because your brain changes.
Oh yeah. You're
And I
depressed.
try to think about like my state of mind. Like, you're an animal. You're a starving animal. Bitches were stealing resistance bands from each other backstage and stuff, because it's like everybody's in this like scarcity, like antisocial mindset. Like, think about like the way a starving rat would behave towards other rats.
Right.
That's
Paranoid.
us back there. And then you go to a powerlifting meet and everybody's like well fed, and people are like cheering for each other and stuff.
Totally different vibe.
It's completely different.
I'm glad you made the switch.
So, I don't know. I mean, like, part of me thinks I might do bodybuilding again someday.
No way.
Yeah, why not?
I guess so. Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know.
The return of Nancy Muscles.
I mean, I don't know. It would have to be a thing that I decided on. The one thing that worries me is that I'm married now, and I became very inward
Interesting.
when I was doing prep, right? When I was doing contest prep. And I don't know how that would do in my relationship.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, like I said, like, your brain changes. Like, I was irritable. I was like, I just wanted to be left alone. And this is a very common experience with bodybuilders, right? You just want to be left alone. And I'm like, I don't know how it would be to live with me.
probably not great.
Yeah. So.
One of my mentors is Mr. America, Rich Beretta,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he pretty much like when I became an independent trainer, he's the one that put me on and took me on and like showed me how to change people's bodies, change my own body. I was like a waif, you know, I was overweight, like, and like hurt, and like I hurt everything from training wrong, and healed me up, and then I went on to, you know, become the trainer I am now. So a huge part of my training style comes from him, but he was literally like that. He like lived that way, you know.
It's mental. I mean, and that's I guess like the point that I want to drive home is like I'm not anti bodybuilding. Like I think it's cool for the right people. It also can be really psychologically taxing, but what I am against is I'm against us having unrealistic expectations for normal people, and and for that reason I would say that I fall into like the more body positive camp.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I think that people just need to move their bodies, and like there's so much psychological damage that bigger people endure in our society. It's fucking crazy. It's like the stuff my clients have told me is fucking crazy.
Wow.
And I want them to have a space where they get to feel good about their body, and they get to like not constantly be criticizing it. You know what I mean? And just be like, oh, it's like fun to fucking lift weights and like move and yeah. So why do you want to lose this weight, right? And so Cara, my life coach, talks a lot about this stuff. She talks a lot about body image, and it's like, what is it that you're trying to feel? You're actually just trying to feel good about yourself.
Right.
You could feel good about yourself right now.
Yeah. You totally
could feel good about yourself right now. And so it's like, so for me with my approach to training now, that's really my goal, is to get women to feel good about themselves, feel good about their bodies, and feel powerful in their bodies, right? And like stop trying to live up to this insane like fitness model ideal.
Right. That's a hard pill to swallow. I think that's a tall order, I would say, because everyone's, as you mentioned kind of earlier, is that everyone's programming is so uniquely different. Where they hold the patriarchy, where they hold their unrealistic standards in their mind, may not be in a harmful place. It may not be so apparent to them that they're doing something that's harmful to themselves and perceiving their life in that way. And which is another reason why I started doing NLP, so I could hear that in their language and the way that they can describe their reality to me. So someone describes themselves as like, I want to lose this weight because it makes my wife happy, and I want to be around for my kids. We know that person is very externally motivated, right? Yeah. And they haven't mentioned themselves yet. And so if I go to them, I'm like, yo, we gotta make you feel great. We gotta make you lose this weight because you're gonna make you feel good. And like, isn't it gonna feel great when you get into those clothes finally? It's like they didn't even have the flooring for that self-esteem that will keep them afloat. That real fulfillment that you're looking for. Because making your wife happy and your kids happy is great, but not having that desire to really be in your own body and appreciate yourself, that's tough to navigate. That's a hard thing to navigate. And I think in the fitness industry, we miss that those little subtle nuances of their battles, you know?
You know, a lot of people who get into fitness, there are different kinds of people. Some people have had like their own journey, but I think a lot of people who I see end up as trainers are gifted genetically. You know?
Think so?
Yeah, I think a fair number of them, yeah.
I think so.
And so how is that person going to relate to a person who, you know what I mean, is coming from a really different place, who didn't play sports as a kid?
Right.
You know what I mean? Who doesn't maybe have the same genetic gifts.
Exactly.
Right?
That's who I made my entire book with. That's every client, that's everyone almost. I very rarely have gotten someone that's like played lacrosse in high school and college, and then like they're just like killing it, and now they're just like a rich dude that used to play sports, and then they hired me. That's not who I fuck with at all. Because I was a sick kid. Yeah. I was in the hospital. I was paralyzed from the neck down when I was a kid. My mom had to take care of me. I was always sick. So to crawl out of that, you know, and then like become like a martial arts champion is like, my dream, So all I ever wanted to do was like have a regular childhood. So yeah, that's it. How am I gonna I think that's why people that hire me. They see a little bit of themselves in me, Because I agree with you. Like a lot of these guys are just like Stan. I love Stan, but there's no fucking way I'm gonna look like Stan. There's no way I'm gonna look like that, dude.
Stan looks like an action figure, just
dude,
so
he
everybody
doesn't
knows.
even work out. Yeah, I'm blowing your shit up, Stan. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of you looking like this, giving everybody false hope. Anyway, Stan's one of the most lovely humans. But they're gifted genetically, or maybe they had a little, testosterone help. That's a huge factor too that no one really talks about. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about testosterone in the gym industry? Have you seen a lot of that in physique?
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with it at all, but I just wish that people would be open about it. Right?
Right.
I don't have a problem with it at all. I mean, in theory, right? In practice, a lot of people do it in a really kind of fishy way.
Right.
Right?
Like, I'm vegan, and it's like, bro. you know who we're talking.
Wow, that mung bean's really fixing you up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's the quinoa.
Oh my god.
No neck.
Oh my god.
It's like shredded.
Yeah.
I eat that much quinoa, I'm bloated and like taking a nap,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, I don't have a I don't think it's. I wouldn't have a problem with. I don't have a problem with PEDs at all. I have friends who use PEDs, right? But they will tell you,
right,
that they use PEDs.
When they have an emotional outburst. Oh, sorry, bro, it's the PEDs.
Well, no, not like that. But it's like when they're talking about their training,
right?
You know what I mean? Like they talk about. They talk about whatever, and they whatever. They're lovely people. So no, I don't have any problem with that. I'm not crazy about it when people are denying that they use PEDs, and then again, yeah, exactly what you said. False hope gives people false hope.
Yeah, man. Like just keep it 100, yo. Like,
but also false hope, but also false fear, right? Because some people are like, I don't want to blow up.
Right.
Oh, I don't want to blow up. I don't. And it's like
some people, as in women.
And men.
And men, they don't want to get too big.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You're probably not going to get big if you're a woman, but also I really take issue with all the male trainers who post this type of shit, and then they'll post a picture of a woman who lifts weights that probably a lot of females would think is big, and it's like you guys are in the gym and maybe you like fit chicks, and you are not thinking about what that woman actually wants to look like, or how she perceives big, right? And it's like some women, I have women say, my shoulders are real small right now, but I've had women say that they don't want my shoulders. They're like, how do I have your butt and not your shoulders? And I'm serious.
Okay.
And that's okay. Like, we're all in the fucking patriarchy. We're all brainwashed, But it's like, I just like, I don't like some of the stuff about like women not getting big for that reason, and also because women can get fucking big. You want to tell me I can't get big? I'll show you some pictures where I was looking pretty big. You know what I mean? Like, we can get big if we want to. So it's like, it's a lot more complicated than that. It's like, instead of focusing on like selling this idea of like you're not going to get big if you lift weights, let's really attack the problem and be like, so what if you get big?
Yeah, exactly. What's going to happen?
Then what?
What's going to happen?
My mom, when I started lifting weights, told me that men don't like muscular women. I was doing fine after I started lifting weights.
I mean, yeah, that's also bullshit. But
it's
like,
total bullshit.
Yeah.
But it's like,
we love you, Mom. But
we love you, Mom. But yeah, whatever. So maybe some dudes don't. But that's fine. It's okay. But it's like, but even so, it's like, well, what if I did get really big and like nobody wanted to be with me? Maybe getting big would be like so cool that I wouldn't care. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It's just, it's like every accomplishment of a woman seems to get kind of like downplayed because of, you know what I mean? Like, so what am I trying to say? People talk shit about Serena Williams' body.
white people.
Yeah.
Black men love that shit.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
We're not complaining.
So gorgeous.
But yeah,
it's like,
I know what you mean.
But it's like, what? Like, do you think she gives a shit what you think about how her fucking body looks? Like, can you imagine her trading her fucking athletic career to look like Jessica Alba?
Yeah.
Fuck no, dude.
No.
So what if you get big? You're gonna be fucking strong. Maybe somebody's gonna fall on the subway tracks and you're gonna pull their ass up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Is that worth it? Right? And so it's like, that's what I want to get to that. You know? Like, yeah, it's cool to like, you get some kind of power from whatever, having like a beauty privilege and like looking a certain way, but there are other forms of power and like there are other ways to love yourself. And that's what I want to get to.
That's beautiful. I think another thing we want to talk about is like, how can we make the gym a safer space for women to get strong?
Yeah, so typically, unless you see somebody who really looks lost, don't walk up to them and try to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
Don't walk up to them and try to help them take their weights off.
Step one, mind your fucking business.
Mind your fucking business.
Okay.
Okay, because like I can't even explain. It's like I don't think guys understand what it's like to be one of like the 3 women who lifts weights at a commercial gym. And I started at a retro fitness, and I would get approached with a bullshit all the time. I had men telling me what to eat. I had men fucking trying to take my weights off when I was like capable of doing it myself, right? I had men telling me what to do every fucking day I went in there, it seemed like. And then on top of that, there were mirrors everywhere, and I could see them like waiting for me to like do my set of squats, right? Because like whatever, it's like entertaining for them because I'm like the only woman there. And I have like a big kind of fuck you spirit, and so I was able to push through and do it anyway, right? But a lot of women are not going to be, or they're not going to want to deal with all that.
Why would you?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that shit.
It's a lot. And like I told you, when I went to Brooklyn Athletic Club, it was a completely different vibe. And people just treated me like a person.
They're
like
dope, man.
Like another person that was at the gym. And I actually was able to lift more weight there. I was actually stronger because I was more relaxed. I felt good. And I actually lifted more weight there.
It's so important to make women be comfortable in a workout environment. And I feel like we do a decent job here after much, work on ourselves culturally in Complete Body, especially in the premier location of 14th Street, that people respect women in a way. I think that's 90% of the women that like hire me. They hire me literally just to feel safe in the gym. It has nothing to do with, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Believe it or not, dudes, like that's a big impetus for hiring a trainer for a woman is because it's too fucking intimidating.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so it's important to just make it safe, and you're a man. If you're a male trainer, I feel like it's our responsibility to create that safe space by building rapport with the people around us so that we can work together to create more of a community so that when you do show up and you are a woman, it's okay to just experiment and fuck around, I'm sorry that you had to deal with all that shit. I didn't come up in the gym that was like that, but then now I think about it, it was like that, like subconsciously. Like I was like, we only have one female trainer on staff. Why is that? That's interesting. And we only trained women on a BOSU and doing booty stuff. There was no heavy lifting in the gym.
I literally saw a trainer put his client, who is not in rehab, right? She's not in rehab from PT.
Okay.
On a leg press with the empty sled, and then he wanted to add weight.
Okay. So he sat on it? Oh no.
He rolled up a mat and put it on the sled.
What?
To add weight. A yoga mat.
It hurts my brain picturing this. Yeah, it's a wild shit on the internet, but
No, this was here. here.
What?
This was here.
You saw this in person?
I saw this in person. I took pictures of it. I'll show you.
We're gonna have to share this moment with the world. Oh my God.
Yeah, there's still work to be done.
There's a lot of work
But
to be done.
complete's way better
Yeah.
than other environments I've worked in. for
Yeah,
sure.
we worked hard on that, and creating inclusivity in a safe space for everybody to come here. You know, it's just like that's what a gym should be. A gym should be a place where you can like work on yourself and not feel judgmental. You know, it's the most judgment. We judge ourselves so much when we're in the gym. It's hard not to be judgmental to other people, but you know, the more work we do on ourselves, the more it'll show on the gym floor. So, now let's get to the most burning question. Okay. What's up with these cats, my man?
Oh my God, we don't have to talk about the cats.
Yeah, we do. You got the cat mug.
I got the cat mug.
You know, cheers.
I used to hate cats.
Really? What
Yeah.
changed your mind?
Well, my roommate got a kitten. He already had 2 cats. That one of them was fine, the other one was annoying. The annoying one died. He got a kitten, and the kitten would fucking sit in the kitchen and cry at me and climb on me while I was trying to eat food. And I hated this kitten, and I was like, he was like ruining my life, and I was like yelling at him and like being a really disgusting person. And I told myself, I was like, Nancy, you gotta get a grip. You gotta either start loving this kitten or you gotta move out.
Right.
And so I made the decision to love the kitten, and I fell in love with it, and I became a cat person.
Wow.
I've always been a dog person. I grew up with dogs, but now I love both.
Wow. Maybe there's hope for me yet. I'm totally a dog person.
Oh, have you had your own cat?
No, but I've had cats in my house, and they were always terrible. They always attacked you, or like, yeah, it was just like, oh, we got a kitten, and then all of a sudden it's like trying to kill you.
So yeah,
attack your
I mean,
feet.
cats really struggle because they're not really domesticated. They
Okay.
kind of domesticated themselves just because they wanted to eat our garbage, like over the eons.
Ah, okay.
And what
cat
happens is that as they've discovered this through some fox experiments in Russia, they started domesticating foxes in Russia. Look it up. But so as
Nancy Muscle's PhD, guys.
as the animal becomes more and more docile, there's some kind of piggyback genes that also change.
Okay.
And so that's when you start to see variations in color, curly tails, floppy ears, all these things. Like, you know, because there's a lot of variation in cats. There's like different colors, fluffy, stuff like that. So they don't look like a wild animal. Like squirrels pretty much look alike, right?
That's true.
So that's why they look like domesticated animals, but they're only like half domesticated.
And that's why they attack you.
That's you got to work with them.
You got to work with them.
They're tough to work with.
Well, that's been Cat's Facts with Nancy Muscles. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh man, you're the best. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it.